Paige McCallum from GoodRx and Megan Blinsky are here to show how thoughtful personalization is powering stronger retention and turning emails into something people actually want to engage with. Welcome, Paige and Megan.
My name's Megan Blinsky. I'm a Director of Strategy at Movable Inc. and I've been with Movable Inc. for just over 4 years now. In my role, I get to partner closely with really brilliant marketers who are absolutely innovating and leveling up their CRM programs. And today I am so thrilled to be joined by one of my absolute favorites. We have Paige McCallum, who's the Senior Director of Lifecycle Marketing at GoodRx. Hi, Paige. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Now, before we dive in, fun little story for everyone. Paige and I have actually known each other for nearly 10 years now. We met when I hired Paige as an email marketing manager at a company called Movable. She was the absolute rock on my team, and she was my right-hand woman, just always, getting us through all of the dramas. So reconnecting in this chapter of our careers has been really wonderful, and I've loved watching her evolve into this powerhouse digital marketer that she is today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've come full circle.
We really have. So Paige, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited to dive into your experience as a new client again with Movable Inc. But before we get into that, can you give everyone a quick overview of GoodRx? What you do, what your email program looks like, just in case some people aren't as familiar.
Yeah, so GoodRx helps make healthcare more affordable. Drug prices vary by pharmacy, and GoodRx can help you find the lowest prescription price at a pharmacy near you. You can just enter any medication name on GoodRx.com or our GoodRx mobile app and search and compare current discounts and drug prices directly there. You can then take a GoodRx coupon to the pharmacy and pay for your prescription and save up to 80% on that prescription, regardless of whether you have insurance or not.
Yeah, it's such a great mission. I feel like making healthcare more affordable is so important, and it must be really satisfying to be working with, something that's doing good in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And I think coming from like Movember in the nonprofit space, I definitely kind of wanted to move into another organization that was mission-based. So GoodRx kind of felt like a good fit there for me.
Yeah. What about your role in particular? Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and a little bit about your email program?
Yeah, exactly. So right now at GoodRx, I currently oversee our activation and retention lifecycle journeys, which are focused on encouraging our users to take advantage of prescription savings at the pharmacy. However, our email program covers like a range of different topics, including various drug pricing awareness initiatives, health-related newsletters, some of which you can kind of see here, and we do a lot of one-on-one communications with our healthcare providers as well. We also have some paid services, a telehealth and our subscription service, which also have their own life cycle journeys too. But yeah, our main goal is to kind of help Americans save money on prescriptions by really building awareness of our various savings opportunities and providing users with coupons that they can use at the pharmacy to take advantage of our discounts. That's kind of the major focus of all of our CRM efforts.
Awesome, yeah. I think it's so cool to kind of see some of these examples already, just because I think it's way more complex than people would think, given all these different lines of business that GoodRx supports.
Yeah, for sure.
So you've been a Movable Inc. client for just over 6 months now. So what made you look at Movable Inc. in the first place? Were there some specific challenges that you were looking to solve?
Yeah, so I actually worked with Movable Inc. for about 5 years at my previous job, Movember, which we were talking about, and we utilized nearly every available functionality at Movember that was available at the time to provide personalized and engaging experiences for our fundraisers and donors. We saw huge lifts in engagement and overall donations when we worked with Movable Inc., which is why I was so excited to work with them again at GoodRx. But when we were originally exploring Movable Inc. as a client, it was mainly to kind of unlock creative possibilities, just given limitations within in-app messaging. Movable Inc. allowed us to have that full creative control within in-app and provide customized user experiences for our app users. However, when the team realized kind of all that Movable Inc. offered, they were inspired by the possibilities within email as well. Movable Inc. definitely makes it easy to kind of provide seamless user experiences between email and mobile, which was really exciting to our team, and then, which was ultimately why we kind of ended up extending our use cases past in-app.
Yeah, it feels like creating that seamless, easy to understand digital experience is so key for something like this, because healthcare is confusing enough and you really need people to actually follow through with it. So
exactly. Kind of just like bridging the gap between that pharmacy in-person experience and the digital in-app experience is really important for us as a business.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about the use cases that you've launched so far and how they performed.
Yeah, so our first campaign launch was an exciting one for our team. It's our year-end savings campaign, which is basically the GoodRx version of Spotify Wrapped. GoodRx, or the Spotify Wrapped's lesser-known cousin. This campaign provides a customer with a savings and rewards summary from the previous year to really reinforce that value and remind users the benefits of why they're using GoodRx. We executed this for both our free users and our paid GoodRx Gold subscribers, and we include personalized and engaging creative on both email and mobile, which provided a much better user experience between the two channels. Given just like the general challenge of prioritization, this was the first year that we were able to execute this campaign in a way that was much less resource intensive, and which was ultimately a huge win for our team. We also saw an 80% lift in click-throughs, which was really, really great to see.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember when we did something similar together at Movember, with these like year-end reviews and stuff like that, it can be kind of overwhelming when thinking about all of the data that goes into it, right? How you've got to kind of create all of these various scenarios for all of the different sort of customer variations that you might have. Can you talk a little bit about, how the data came together behind this? What powered it, and who did you work with internally to bring it to life?
Yeah, kind of to get in the weeds. We worked really closely with our BI team to kind of identify which key engagement points we wanted to pull into this email. Again, our GoodRx rewards program is point-based, and then we also have savings summary. So we really relied on them to kind of populate that data, in which we then fed into a data extension, and then Movable Ink was really able to just read directly from that data extension to end up populating both the mobile and in-app experiences. So yeah, I think kind of once you identify what the data points are and just kind of gathering that information, Movable Ink is kind of just easily able to grab that from, whichever data source you're operating from.
And it sounds like you're lucky that you had a great BI team who were able to be the one-stop shop for everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. But given the efficiency and engagement wins with our year-end savings campaign, we actually just recently launched a monthly version of this too. Given that we had already kind of done majority of the heavy lifting with the year-end savings campaign, this one was really easy to spin up and launch because so much of it was already built. This campaign is sent on a monthly basis and generally requires about 8 hours of build time per month, but now that we are able to kind of partner with Movable Ink on this, we can bring that down to 1.5 hours and provide our users with an amazing, savings reinforcement monthly.
Awesome. Yeah, I think these, year, monthly sort of saving statements are just so important in reinforcing the value of GoodRx. I'm sure that really helps your retention as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our users just, anecdotally love to see how much they're saving from us.
Yeah. What about this one?
Yeah, so this campaign was launched as a reactivation experiment, which was aimed at driving lapsed users to return and use a GoodRx coupon at the pharmacy. Given the multiple variations associated to this campaign, it was a huge efficiency win for us to leverage Movable Ink to really embed that directly into a singular creative. We were able to test multiple incentive values without the need to build multiple journeys in our marketing platform. Ooh, there's a fly.
There's a fly.
So this next use case, which is launching next week, is also meant to activate some of our less engaged newsletter audience. We're able to provide a fun user experience for our users to share what newsletter content they're interested in, and then kind of customize with specific content based on their poll selections. We're also planning to run an A/B test using kind of generic versus poll response-based content to understand the impact of content selection with this audience particularly.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like there's so much that you can be doing with polling to be, capturing that all-important customer data and really learning about what is, interesting and motivating to your users. So I'm sure that there'll be many more of these in your future. Okay, so thank you for taking us through what you've launched so far or about to be launching. Love seeing how quickly you've hit the ground running and providing value to your audience straight away. One of the things that we often experience at Movable Ink is that, the big challenge sometimes is prioritization. Sometimes there's just so many possibilities. It can be overwhelming when there's just so much on your wish list that you want to do. So how did you go about prioritizing what you were going to tackle first?
Yeah, so I think for our first few use cases, we really focused on bridging the gaps between our desktop and mobile experiences, and I think our yearly savings statement's a good example of that. We also prioritized campaigns where we could easily identify efficiency wins by utilizing Movable Ink to kind of help help with the dynamic logic and creative variations, ultimately saving us campaign build time. We're really pleased with what we've launched so far with Movable Ink in such a short amount of time, especially given how complex some of these campaigns are. We have a lot of ideas for upcoming campaigns, and we also have other teams kind of wanting to get their hands on the Movable Ink functionalities. Our mobile team especially is excited to explore and kind of execute some mobile-specific use cases with Movable Ink as well. They're really looking at MI as kind of a tool to help them get things done quicker.
Awesome.
Get more done quicker, rather, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like sometimes it's hard to have that clear, point of view and clear idea of what to focus on. And I think you've already started so strongly, you'll just keep getting better and better.
Exactly.
So were there any particular resources that helped you in kind of getting past this implementation phase and getting so much out the door quickly?
Yeah, so majority of the CRM team, our CRM team, is entirely new to Movable Ink. So I really wanted to prioritize educating and inspiring everyone. So I asked the Movable Ink team to organize various educational sessions for our internal stakeholders, creative inspiration sessions for our designers specifically, and then also asking them to provide like various lookbook inspiration for specific use cases that we were interested in executing. We're even aiming to schedule a mobile-specific session next, just given our emphasis on in-app messaging and general excitement from our mobile team. Mm-hmm. But with so many kind of like pie-in-the-sky ideas, I think the Movable Ink team really does a good job at kind of keeping us organized with, a project tracker, and it keeps us on track not only with like our ongoing campaign builds, but basically like anything we're hoping to execute in the future or kind of any needed trainings.
Yeah, I feel like from when we used to work together, like most people in email, we love a spreadsheet. Yeah. It's kind of like what we live by. Yep. So I think that project tracker has really been well utilized by you guys. I think what's great is it keeps you guys focused on, the projects at hand in terms of what you're building currently. But like you said, you've got so many ideas that are kind of running on the back burner that it's a great spot to kind of be, keeping across all of those as well.
Exactly.
And then I think also like when we work together as well, our biggest value unlock with using Movable Ink was when we got our creative team involved.
Yeah.
We kind of brought them in, tried to get them feeling like Movable Ink is a tool that also kind of unlocks things for them, whether it's sort of productivity, reducing the number of versions they have to create for things because we can do it dynamically with Movable Ink. So I think that's where your previous experience has been so valuable because you already know to do things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a really great value add as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously that's all kind of really positive and sounds really easy breezy, but it's not always smooth sailing. I feel like when you undertake a new endeavor or a new initiative, a new Martech vendor, you're kind of bound to hit a few little bumps along the way. So were there any kind of speed bumps during your first 6 months, and how did your team kind of work through them?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, our team's entirely new to Movable Ink, so I think really proving the value to those who aren't previously familiar with it has been important to really increase momentum. We really look at Movable Ink as a solution, so prioritizing use cases that show the value internally has been helpful to build that momentum and really grow our partnership with you guys. I think as you said, I think onboarding new Martech is understandably hard, but with each use case that we've launched, we're really learning and growing in comfort of using the tool, and we're also learning like different ways to push the boundaries a bit and just kind of what's possible, which is allowing us to ideate further use cases. I think growing through each obstacle is kind of how you'll really reap the most benefit, and as a marketer, kind of being the change agent to push through new ideas is really ultimately how you'll see the most success. Actually, right now, too, we are in the process of weaving Movable Ink into our existing processes and Jira workflows, which will ultimately help with ease of communication and collaboration between our internal team and Movable Ink. Our CRM and ops teams work exclusively in Jira, and it's really our central hub of kind of all of our campaign builds. So getting our Movable Ink reps trained and set up on our instance, really treating them like an extension of our existing CRM team, I think will make it, a lot more seamless to launch campaigns with Movable.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like you've done exactly everything in your power. You've tried to inspire people. You've really focused on leading with results and making sure that people can kind of see the proof of the investment in Movable Ink, and then, integrating it into your processes. I think that's the best way to help when people are kind of not resistant, but like when something's new and different, by kind of making it as seamless as possible. So
Yeah,
love that you've done that. So what is next on the roadmap then? What use cases are you currently working on that you're excited about?
Yeah, so we're currently working on another live poll for our dormant audience to try and gain insight into why they haven't used GoodRx in a while. This will be helpful for us to determine kind of any future optimizations that we need to make within this dormant user journey specifically, aimed at reactivating these users. However, the use case that I'm most excited about is our savings awareness campaign. We send various emails with pricing information, which can change daily. Right now, these prices are statically populated, but with Movable Ink, we'll be able to display real-time pricing in these messages, which will be pulled directly from our website, not just at time of open, but with every subsequent open that user makes on that specific communication. This is a big win because it ensures that our users have the most up-to-date coupon information when they visit the pharmacy.
Yeah, this one's going to be a massive automation win for you guys, right?
Yeah, for sure. This will be a big unlock for us. And just honestly, I think, we put the customer and the user first. And I think, being able to physically be at the pharmacy, open their email and get that live coupon price as they're standing there is a real big win for us.
Yeah, that's so exciting. So this has been awesome to learn a bit more about your program and your experience back working with Movable Ink again. To wrap things up, are there any additional tips or tricks that you've got up your sleeve in terms of, how marketers can kind of hit the ground running really quickly and have a smooth implementation?
Yeah, so I think motivating and inspiring your team to think outside of the box is key. I kind of say opening your brain a bit, especially with our marketing managers and creatives, because they're kind of again, I mentioned the change agents who are kind of driving all of this stuff. With Movable Ink, the possibilities do become a lot larger, so really pushing the boundaries in terms of creative solutions is how you'll ultimately get the most out of the tool. I kind of think that, especially with Movable Ink, the tool's really only as good as the people who are using it. I think it's also key to have leadership support because this is such an important investment in our CRM capabilities, and ultimately we need that buy-in to continue to grow our partnership and launch personalized and engaging campaigns.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, not only for being here today, but being such a thoughtful and passionate marketer. You're doing such great things at GoodRx. It's been such a joy working together again, and I think your insights will be really helpful for our newer clients who are in this same phase as you were.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much again for having me. My first Think Summit, and I'm speaking, so thank you.
Well done. Thank you.